guys won that second game in LA, I'm sure you're looking at your outing and saying, man, this is either going to be a clinch opportunity for us or a do-or-die situation, and it just seems so appropriate that you would get that start. Your thoughts of how excited you are to be that guy once again?
Yeah, really excited once we win that first. Kind of guarantees me an opportunity to throw and to throw in Petco. So I know the fans are all extremely excited about this. As a team, we're definitely, at the maximum level of excitement. So the energy is going to be high, and I'm excited that, I get the opportunity to somewhat decide our fate one way or another.
The outing that you had in New York, it was a do-or-die situation. Yeah. How much did just getting that experience under your belt, your first postseason start, maybe help for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it'll help settle the nerves a little bit. By no means am I going out there expecting to go 7 with 1 hit again. It's a little bit different of a lineup. I know they're, very patient. We've seen them enough now. They've seen me enough to, to know what the attack plan is here now. It's just going to come down to execution and being a little bit unpredictable. But, I expect them to get a few runners on base. I know they like to run. They got some guys in there that, that can steal bases, and obviously they handled that pretty well throughout the course of the season. I think Nola threw out the first guy that, that we've gotten all year against them up in L.A. So we've, thought about that. We've kind of created a game plan to manage that. But yeah, it's going to come down to making, big pitches and big moments throughout the game. And I think that outing in New York, a high leverage moment and, crazy atmosphere in a big market, like New York, I think that'll pay off a little bit come tomorrow.
What have you learned over the last 2 years? Not that I expect you to divulge exactly what your plan is, but what have you learned pitching against the Dodgers?
Yeah, it's a dangerous lineup. They have a lot of power in that lineup, a lot of guys that can change a score in one swing. So there's always that threat. But with that comes a lot of opportunities to control the count. Those guys are going to be patient. They're going to, sit in their zones until they get in a 2-strike count, and then they'll expand a little bit. So I think for all of our starters, especially for Blake tonight, it's going to be about getting strike one. This lineup and this team turns into a completely different threat when you're ahead in the count and you're controlling the count, as opposed to, falling behind 1-0, 2-0 and having to work back in. It allows them to see a lot more pitches and ultimately do more damage on you the third time around, having seen, 10-plus pitches in those first 2 at-bats. So it's going to be about attacking the zone, being aggressive, not being afraid to, to challenge them in the zone. There's a lot of guys in this lineup that don't chase heavily, but, they'll give you strikes on the edges, so you got to be fine with your pitches, but, be willing to take some chances. And it's where you kind of hope that you get a lead early in the game and allows you to go out there and be a little more free with taking those chances, as opposed to being in a 0-0 game where, that one homer might hurt you. Yeah, it's pretty cool to, to have support of there's a lot of guys that, I saw Mike Lowell, stepped up to defend me, Ripken, a lot of those guys that were on that network, really had my back in that situation. And, those are all guys that played the game and guys that have been around it. But I don't know how much baseball Brian Kenny's played. And, I feel like I take the opinion of those other guys a lot more than his. So, yeah, it was a little bit hurtful what he said. But to have a guy like Jake stand up for me, and a guy that's pitched in those moments and knows what that's like and knows how, certain moments can elevate you to a certain level. The same way I'm sure that Brian gets when he goes on TV. It's a lot different. You elevate and you rise to the moment. And it was nice to have a guy like Peavy, have my back, especially with the connection I've had. The guys in that clubhouse and, the guys that I'm playing for, and they all know, what it was. They believe me, they trust me, they know what it takes to perform in those moments. So that's the ultimate thing that, I want, is the respect and trust of those guys. The outside world's going to have their opinions one way or another. So I've kind of moved past that. I'm not really, hanging on it too much.
There has been a lot of noise around that, and I know you said you saw the opinions of some guys. Like, how have you managed to tune out that noise, or have you? Is that something that you've been trying, given that these are some of the most important starts you've had? Have you tried to tune that out, or have you?
Yeah, you can't completely eliminate it. Everyone's got feelings and emotions, and I was pretty offended and hurt by, him going on the biggest platform in baseball and MLB Network and spewing the things that he did, especially without the evidence and proof that he had. It was more so the passion in his voice and, the drive and determination to win his side of the argument when he didn't really have much to stand on. That bothered me, but you can't get attached to it. As much as it offended me, I'm moving past it. That was one outing, and I got a bigger task in front of me right now tomorrow. So, trying to remove those emotions and just focus purely on the task at hand is what I'm trying to do best.
New York, you said you embraced the moment. You know, tomorrow will be even bigger, I assume, given the situation.
Yeah.
Embrace it. How do you temper your emotions tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a different atmosphere. Being on the road, You can try to act as if the cheers and the loud noise is for you, but it's not. You hear all the comments and the things that fans are screaming. Tomorrow I know it's going to be a lot of positive cheers and a lot of screaming for me and the team. So, it's probably going to be a little bit more emotional. So that'll be something I'll have to manage, but that's stuff I'm going to make myself really aware of. Tonight when I'm prepping and getting ready for the start tomorrow is going over any situation, the excitement, the joy, the struggle, whatever it might be that I'll encounter. I feel like I'll be ready for it.
Joe, to meet Jake or talk to Jake over the years, I feel like I remember you saying you hadn't met him. Has that changed?
No, I haven't. I think we've probably exchanged a few messages through somebody else, but I haven't gotten to sit down and talk with him and visit. But I think he's going to be around today or tomorrow maybe, so hopefully I'll get a chance to say what's up to him.
I wonder if you have any vague recollection of the first time and how old you were when you yelled "Beat LA," and whether the city can get behind that, whether they follow the Padres closely or not.
Yeah, I remember at Qualcomm I think it was a Dodgers series, but Phil Nevin was hitting BP, and I'd gone in early with one of my buddies to watch batting practice. And my parents had walked me in, got me situated, and then I think somebody ran back to the car to grab the rest of the people and come in. So we were sitting in the outfield watching BP, and kid Nevin hits a ball in the cup holder a few rows to my left. And me and this other kid are staring at it from side to side, and we're both waiting to someone make the first move. It was a mad dash to get to the ball. I think I got to it first. He tried to pull it out of my hand. We ended up getting this little tussle, and I punched the kid. I think it might have been the first kid I ever punched. And I punched the kid, and I kind of looked at him like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And I got booted out by one of the security guards. So I think that was my first Dodger game, was getting kicked out. I was able to come back in with my parents and whatnot, but yeah, he wasn't too happy about us getting into it. And then no one had parents around either, so just two kids fighting in the outfield. Yeah.